I have another patient who I've been seeing over the period of about 2.5 years. And when he came in was, I would consider, probably moderate on the spectrum. He didn't have much speech. He did have some, but there was very jumbled, wasn't a whole lot of awareness there, very much in a fog and very much into himself. And what we did was, again, we did the testing. We cast a wide net in regards to knowing the systems that were affected, but not only that, addressing the priorities. Because every one of these kids has some degree of gut inflammation. They all have some degree of intolerance to certain foods at the time. They all have a degree of toxicity. They all have a degree of immune dysregulation. It's not a question of whether they have it, it's which one is the priority. What do we need to work on first? And as we get to know them better, both on the inside and out, we start to do those things in that fashion based upon that patient alone. And that's a child who then fought it at first. This is a family that was very persistent because he was very rigid. He didn't want to change because he was very much wanting to be what he liked. You know, he had his certain crackers he liked. He had his certain foods that he liked and was very resistant at first, but the family just kind of pressed on. And he started to accept some of the things they were doing, not necessarily liking them, but he was accepting them. And that's when we started noticing that he started making improvements. He was in therapy, and the therapist started asking the family, what are you guys doing? We're starting to see gains that we hadn't seen before, even though he was in therapy for a while. Then they started noticing that instead of having to prompt him for everything, he started to give his wants without being prompted. And then they started noticing that he was starting to give more spontaneous speech. They were still doing everything though. They were still searching. We were still looking into things. So this was never we never stopped. We always kept looking for new things and started to build upon the successes we had seen, not only from a behavioral and from a speech standpoint, but also medically. We knew he was healing his gut. We knew that he was trying more foods. We knew he was getting the nutrient deficiencies balanced. We were addressing the chronic infections. So then they started seeing things like spontaneous statements. Started off more as a scripting of things that he had seen on his shows or things, you know, TV shows he liked. But then he started to have conversational talk, you know, where he started telling his wants in phrases. But then the parents heard that first, I love you. And that's a milestone for all of our families. It's a milestone for us, it was a milestone for everybody, because that is that quintessential, I know you're here, I know you love me, I know that you are doing everything you can to help me. And that's something that is, it is a result of all the effort. It's a result of all the hard work. It's not despite it. It is because of it.